The
Go out and
indie
look
game.
for that one. Very indie, very independent. Except Blizzard's owned by Activision, so it's like the opposite.
Okay, so
we should actually. Can I just say something real quick? Going back and listening at last week's show, I did put too much blame, I think, on Activision for killing the music game industry because I claimed, I think, that Harmonix was owned by Activision right now, and in fact, they're owned by EA. So we can put a little bit of that blame over there. They were owned by Activision when they produced Guitar Hero. I think when they made Rock Band, they went over to EA. Point still being, big publishers like annualizing things, and it can really hurt the industry. Everyone already knows that, though, so I don't have to go saying it.
yeah. I think one more thing to say about the 360 before we get to Halo 4 and wrap up with 360. Drawing in 3D with the Kinect was very cool.
That was very cool, but, like, why?
Absolutely no reason, but...
Well, it was awesome. Like, I don't know. It's like you could do your own... Remember the Disney Channel when they would draw out, like, the Mickey Mouse, like, television thing?
Right.
It's just like that, but, like, who the hell gives a crap?
I would play with it for a good half hour. Okay, so moving on, Halo 4. Is it starting a new trilogy? Is that what I got from this?
The official statement was starting a new trilogy on and finishing it. They said this like they were going to finish this trilogy on the Xbox 360. So are we seeing 3 more years of the Xbox 360?
Are they going to do one each year?
That's the only thing I can think of right now. Because
that's going to be so bad, though.
Well,
first of all, let's clear it up so everyone knows at home. Bungie's not making this game.
Right. It's Is it
343 or something?
It's 343 Studios or 34 Studios.
Yeah,
we should know this stuff.
Yeah. No, so it's a new company behind it. Looking at the video, we can't tell anything as far as gameplay or anything like that.
Well, it was all pre-rendered.
Yeah, it was
no
just
gameplay.
So I mean, we can't really say much besides it exists and it's going to be coming out.
Yeah, and but talking about like how they're going to release this thing and it's all going to be on 360 and whatnot. We do know that Microsoft wants to annualize the Halo franchise. They want a new game every year.
Bad idea.
They've been pretty successful at this in the past few years, although sales haven't been quite as high as they were for, I think, Halo 3. But they released Reach this past year. They're going to release the new...
ODST before Reach, by the way.
Oh yeah. It was Halo 3, ODST,
right, and then
Reach. All in a row, right? Or did we must have missed a year in there somewhere, 2000.
3 to ODST, there was at least...
It was like 2
years.
or 3 years, yeah. But we've got the new version of Halo Combat Evolved coming out this year.
Yep.
So that will cover us for this year. 2012, we're gonna get Halo 4, and I think that maybe not 100% likely, but maybe they'll just go, 2012, 13, 14 with this Halo trilogy.
I could see the 360 lasting another 3 years.
And it would fit perfectly with Sony and their original statement that they wanted a 10-year console lifespan. Sony wanted to release PS3 in 2006, or at least this is what they said, right?
Yeah.
And they wanted to release their next console in 2016. And so Microsoft could ride out the Halo franchise on the 360, get Kinect out there. We already know that they're reformatting the discs so that they can have... So they're extending the amount of space on the 360 discs. So we know that they want a longer life cycle in this system. They are launching Kinect. It's family friendly. We might see the next consoles after the Halo franchise finishes in 2014. We might see the next Xbox in 2015. Next PlayStation 2016.
I could see that, definitely.
But doesn't that just make you feel old? Don't you remember when it was every 5 years?
Yes, and I also remember when we were so excited that the 360 was coming out and the PS3 was coming out and everything.
And PS3 were like, "Oh, what a little piece of shit! It's so bad. 360 is gonna be awesome."
Now
it was.
I have a little question about each press conference, and so I'm gonna and we should. I think we're done with Microsoft. We covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to a few games that are on the Xbox. Like, for instance, we gotta talk about Skyrim, which is apparently now Skyrim. It's not Skyrim anymore.
You said Skyrim last podcast, and I forgot to correct you.
But the thing is, Skyrim. Everyone was saying Skyrim when this thing was announced.
I always said Skyrim.
I originally wanted to say Skyrim, but I was corrected. It was Skyrim. And I think originally, like, people called this thing Skyrim before.
Maybe someone messed up along the way and now they're trying to, like, fix it.
Well, I think Skyrim is a little bit better, so I'm glad they're going with that now.
Yeah. Okay, we can go back and talk about games after, but I have this little question for you.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of the 360 conference, during the COD, I call it COD, Call of Duty trailer,
yes,
the Reconnect controller thing popped up. Now, here's my question. I have a couple questions. Was it intentional? Well, and was it because they wanted to show that it wasn't scripted? However, that was also scripted. Because that's my theory.
So, what I have heard about this is that there was likely an error during that demo, and the game demo crashed, and they cut right to a video. I'm not sure if it was exactly at that spot, but if I'm correct, there was a little bit of a cinematic in that when you deploy something,
right?
Or, you're pushing buttons on the sub or something like that.
It popped up just as about something big was about to happen. Yeah,
and I think there was a little bit of a black screen in there. I can go back and look at it, and we can talk about it again later.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, I don't think that really matters, right? We know that
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 3 will come out. It will be amazingly fantastic.
They could have just.
Although I guess you don't think so, right?
No, I am looking forward to it. I saw the AK-74U. I saw the P90. Those were both in Modern Warfare, the original, and I believe they were both in Modern Warfare 2. I know the AK-74U is in Black Ops. So there was a lot of the same weapons, similar gameplay. What I didn't like about it was that the campaign seemed a little bit too movie-like. I didn't know how much, if we could die. I didn't know if we could die. When we're going through the different ships and stuff, I feel like we might just be using the control stick to move from left to right, but it doesn't really matter.
So basically what you're telling me is during these press conferences, you want them to turn God mode off, and you want to be able to see that you can die during this game, right?
Yes. And also, I thought that Modern Warfare 3 was falling into the Black Ops fault in their campaign, where the player doesn't get to choose which cover they're going to go to. They're not going to they could go to this house or that house, whereas in Black Ops it was following behind a cart, and you had to follow behind it and shoot out the sides. And so you're kind of forced to do something that the developers want you to do, and you're kind of just taken along for the ride rather than let's figure out where I should go to get the best angle on these enemies.
Yeah, I understand. Well, speaking of movable cover, Gears of War 3 now has those mech robots in it that shoot your enemies and walk around, and I think my favorite part of that whole scene was that you could go into cover behind them.
Gears of War 3 looks awesome.
Yeah. I have to say, though, I mean, it's not I wish that Gears of War 3 was the step, or I wish that Gears 2 to Gears 3 was the step that happened between 1 and 2, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
You mean gameplay-wise?
Gameplay, graphics, everything. From, when Gears of War 2, when we first really started seeing that game, when we first played it, it was a whole world above Gears of War 1. Gears of 1 looked like a buggy, low polygon, low texture mess compared to Gears of War 2. Gears of War 3, it's like, okay, it kind of looks a little bit better, like maybe some more fun things in it, but it's kind of the same, like, like, I didn't feel blown away. I feel like while playing the game I might, but, like, from what I've seen so far, it hasn't blown me. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to go out and buy that thing and
Right.
play the crap out of it. But, maybe what I'm going to love the most about that game, though, is just that the online will work.
Yeah, that's a good point. Online has not been great for
the Gears franchise at all.
But they offer you to choose which game type and map. And
wait, are we getting? Well, yeah, we got that in. That's the thing that I loved about Gears was that right in the original one. I'm pretty sure I could just search for Warzone and like the one map that I knew that I wanted to play,
right.
And there would be a game there with like 6 out of 8 people, and I could just go and join it. And I actually like that more than matchmaking. But then they added matchmaking to Gears 2, and it still had a lot of good options with it. You couldn't really choose your map anymore, but you could directly choose the game type as opposed to Halo, where they don't let you pick anything, which is really fucking annoying.
Yeah, I didn't play Gears 2, so I can't comment too much about that. But I'm excited because I think I'm going to get Gears 3.
Yeah, you'll love Gears 3 because like jumping in with Gears 3, that's just going to be like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like. There's no other way to describe it. It's going to be like a whole level above what else you've played. But speaking of the third game in these trilogies for these consoles that are out right now, that doesn't look like the dramatic step we saw from Game 1 to Game 2, I'd say the third Uncharted game, it looks like... Now, I don't have a PlayStation. I haven't played any of the Uncharted games.
Me neither.
But they have always been my favorite PlayStation 3 game to follow. Like, I love what's going on there. I wish I could play them, but unfortunately, I just don't have the cash to drop on that type of system for, like, that one game.
Right. When I saw Uncharted, I thought Assassin's Creed. I thought it was different because it has guns and everything. The way you... and especially when I saw Uncharted on the Vita. The way you climb up walls and across things.
Yes, yes, it is
very similar.
Very similar.
Stealth kills on guards and stuff like that. I just thought there was a lot of similarities, and then there's also differences because you have the guns in Uncharted and.
But see, what I noticed is again, like just Uncharted was one thing. The sequel was this whole new crazy level, but the third one it doesn't seem that crazy. And Assassin's Creed follows this too. The original one came out,
decent,
decent,
good first playthrough. The second playthrough
good
didn't
7
exist.
hours.
Yeah, and then Assassin's Creed 2, great, phenomenal.
Like amazing. But the third one, it just doesn't look like it's...
Now, by third one, do you mean Brotherhood?
No, because, I don't know, I
consider Brotherhood and 2 to be...
pretty much the same
kind
game. From what I understand, aren't they built on the same engine?
I would imagine so, and also built around the same character. Because Assassin's Creed 1 had one character, Altair, and 2 as Ezio.
And what I like about the third one is that they've said... basically, the plot of the third one is you get like knocked unconscious or something. You're like 2 seconds away from dead. They plug you into the Animus, and so because you're so brain dead, you fall right through the world. You fall right through the white room, which is like that loading room of the Animus, and you fall right into what they think they're calling it, like the black room or the black box. Which actually I found out today. On like operating systems and whatnot, the black box is like what you base an operating system on.
Oh, that's interesting.
Sort of like the kernel and bootloader.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been like researching this stuff all day. But anyway, so you go right into basically a very like it's not a user friendly area, right? But you're still playing as your main character in the Assassin's Creed universe, and you can jump around these weird floating blocks and whatnot.